Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of The Gift of Giving. We're very fortunate here in Nevada to have an extremely diverse culture, and our guest this week exemplifies that through the organization she's representing. I'd like to welcome to the program Rayette Martin. She's a founding member and executive director of Nevadans for Cultural Preservation. Welcome to the program, Rayette. Thank you for taking the time out to join us.
Oh, definitely. Thank you.
And can you please give us a brief overview of the organization, when it was founded, and its mission?
Sure. So Nevadans for Cultural Preservation was founded in 2013. And our mission is really preservation through education. That's the core of everything that we do. We have kind of a tagline that is, we cannot expect people to care for things they know nothing about, follow laws they've never heard of, or protect things they cannot identify. So we were noticing there was a lot of damage to our different cultural sites and heritage sites. And it was maybe people that were misinformed or didn't know what they were doing was causing such damage. And so we thought we could fulfill that need by going out and educating the public about the importance of our cultural heritage and how they can help take care of it.
Wow. And what made you actually start doing this? I know you're one of the founding members, so I'm assuming there were a few others. And did it just kind of come up in the conversation?
It was, so there is a program called the Nevada Site Stewardship Program. It's run by the State Historic Preservation Office. And so that organization has volunteers. They go out and they kind of adopt sites and they check them for damage, and then they report that back. So that was one way in which myself and some of those volunteer site stewards were seeing that type of damage, right? We were seeing kids scratch tic-tac-toe on the rocks near petroglyphs, which are Native American rock peckings. And it was like, well, that's just a simple misunderstanding. It's not somebody with a can of spray paint who knows they're doing a bad thing. So we thought we could hopefully form this organization that could go out and educate the general public, so that when they know better, they can do better, right? When they have that information.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, education, that's key, isn't it, really?
Yes.
And now I noticed on your website, the one thing that stuck out to me was you had this take action. And I clicked on that, and there was all these areas where people could actually take action and be educated and help out. So I'd like to talk about a couple of those, if that's okay. You have an OHV Preservation Ambassador. Would you like to talk about what OHV is?
Yeah, most definitely. So a lot of our, I call them cultural sites, but they're like archaeological or historic sites. Really, it's old rock writing sites where it's old mines, ranches, these kind of places that tell the history of Nevada. And a lot of people will access these. They're remote, right? So you have to go down old 2-track dirt roads, old mining roads, and that kind of thing to get to them. So the people who are mostly accessing them have the 4-wheel drive off-road vehicles. And so an OHV is off highway vehicle. And so it's targeted marketing and education for those individuals. They often get blamed for the damage, but we wanted to provide, under our Take Action, really opportunities for them to engage. So not only do they get educated, but then they become volunteers who, when they're already out going to all these cool places, can say, hey, something's wrong here, and report it, so that then it can be managed properly. So instead of being the issue, they're now the solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you also have a Citizen Steward Pledge.
Yes. So that is a simple way for folks to just kind of understand a little bit more about, when you're out, I'm going to be a citizen steward, which means I am going to respectfully visit this archaeological site, and I will also report any damage that I may find. And so a lot of times people will talk about tread lightly or leave no trace, but ours takes that a little step further in talking about when you're visiting historic and archaeological sites.
Good. Perfect. And also you have report damage, and you've alluded to this, is that would you like to elaborate any further on the reporting of the damage, the importance and the need of it?
So that program I was talking about that's with the state, the Nevada Site Stewardship Program, they have those volunteers that are assigned sites, but they also have people able to report information to them. So we, as an organization, we don't collect those damage reports because that state entity already does. So we just provide an extra avenue for people to get that information to them. And then those reports, instead of going to local law enforcement or something like that, where they may not understand the importance of cultural sites and that by removing a rock, you could be damaging history. Or so it'll go to the archaeologist who manages that land to make sure that the right people are taking care of the issues. So
that's that's very valuable information right there. And the next one, which is scary, is graffiti removal, and it's just awful that we have the graffiti, but would you like to elaborate on that as part of your Take Action program?
Most definitely. So when we talk about graffiti removal at NVFCP, our nonprofit, we're talking about removing graffiti from these sensitive cultural sites. So graffiti on historic buildings or on the rocks near or on petroglyphs. And so there are opportunities that we have on occasion for folks to volunteer to assist us when it's appropriate. And it's a good way for them to get out and spend time at the site, also learn about graffiti removal techniques, because vigilante graffiti removal is a thing where people with good intentions go out and they try and fix it, and they end up making a bigger mess. So these well-intentioned folks will hopefully volunteer with myself and work under supervision, follow all the laws, and we can take care of it together as opposed to them just taking action.
Nice. It's good that you have that program too, that people can reach out to you. Yeah. We're going to take a brief sponsorship break. Please stay with us, folks. We're going to be right back, and we'll be talking about some of the special projects that Nevadans for Cultural Preservation is involved with.
Tariffs, pandemics, rising inflation. The Joshua Dowden team is ready when volatility happens. Markets fluctuate for reasons nobody can control. Don't let the headlines drive your financial plan. The Joshua Dowden team at Priority Wealth Partners has served Summerlin retirees for 3 decades. Our 5-tier risk management strategy matches our strategies with your goals, with plans designed for your assets to be there when you need them. Conveniently located at the heart of downtown Summerlin. Call Joshua Dowden today or visit DowdenFinancialServices.com.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'd like to welcome back our special guest, Ray Martin, founding member and executive director of Nevadans for Cultural Preservation. And we're now going to talk about some of the special projects that you're involved with, Ray. And the one I saw, it's an initiative, 2025 through 2027, and it's public-focused archaeological resource and preservation education grant from the Lincoln County Archaeological Resources Initiative. Would you like to talk about that project and how you got some funding as a result thereof?
Most definitely. So for short, we call that the LCAI Grant Fund, and it's put out by the Bureau of Land Management. And what it is they had sold some land over near Mesquite, which was part of Lincoln County. They took those funds, they put it in a pot, and now they allow people to write grant projects or contracts to do archaeological work. And one of their main focus areas is education, stewardship, working with the public. And so that fits us very well. And we wrote a proposal or a project to go out, and we do 4 different events a year. So we show up where the folks already are, and then 2, either a workshop and a talk, or 2 talks, 2 workshops, to bring archaeological information in a fun way to the locals and tourists alike. Again, just really emphasizing that preservation through education. This stuff is so amazing. This is why we protect it. And then they have a good time while they're doing it. So that is one part of the project that we're doing. Another is they have the Silver State OHV Trail, right? I said we have an OHV program. And along that trail, I believe it's 240 or so miles of trail system. They have different mining sites and things you can see from the trail. And so I'm putting together a signage plan so that we can bring that education to those folks when they're at the site. So we'll catch them when they're actually there, which I think is important, right? And tell them this is such cool stuff. Here's the history. This is why we protect it, and tie that back in to go ahead and report if you find any damage. Instead of telling people what not to do, we're asking them, hey, report these things, which is similar to telling them, oh, these are bad things for you to do. But in a nice way. Exactly. Yeah. And then there's a program called Nevada Trail Finder, and that's where you can look at all these different off-road hiking, biking trails across Nevada. And I'm updating all of their historic sites in Lincoln County so people have more information about them when they're looking that up. So that kind of wraps up that grant project that we're doing.
Gotcha. That's quite a big project in and of itself.
Yes, that's why it's 3 years.
Yeah. Okay, that explains it. I'd forgotten that already.
Yeah, right.
Now, another special project is Little Red Rock graffiti removal and site management consulting.
Yes. So some folks in the valley are aware there's a place called Little Red Rock. It's on private property owned by the Howard Hughes Corporation, and it's on the west side of town. And it is a significant Native American cultural area with different resources that we need to protect and preserve. And unfortunately, it was vandalized for a number of years. So we got a contract from the Hughes Corporation, came in with our volunteers, and we did over 1,000 volunteer hours. That doesn't count my time and our other staff time, and removed a lot of painted graffiti from the area, including on top of petroglyphs. So it was really important to get that looking clean so that we don't see additional issues. So graffiti attracts graffiti. People who see it think, oh, this is a place to do that. Trash dumping attracts more trash dumping. Yes. So currently we're removing all the evidence of all those years of partying. So removing nails and glass and all this trash. So there are volunteers that do that as well. So we are on a continual working basis with them to help provide these services, and are looking forward to doing that in the future as well.
Yes, good for you. Good for you. And there's a White River Narrows Archaeological District NRHP nomination and graffiti remediation. A lot of these are involved with graffiti, isn't it?
Graffiti is the #1 reported cause of damage to cultural sites in Nevada through the Nevada Site Stewardship Program. That and off-road trails and that kind of thing. Maybe people driving in areas they don't know that they're supposed to. And when it comes to White River Narrows, that's an archaeological district, meaning it's a large area with concentrated archaeological resources. And for instance, this one has a lot of petroglyphs. And so it's on the National Register of Historic Places. That's what the NHRP is for. However, it was nominated back, I think it was in the 70s. So we need to update all of that and get that information more current, include more things. So I'm part of I'm a subcontractor for another entity called Stratum Unlimited. And one of the things that Stratum does is they go across the globe and do graffiti work, and not making graffiti, but removing it. Sure. Right, let me be clear. Yes. Otherwise, yeah. So one of the things we also do is camouflaging. And so in that area, there used to be an old highway. And so along the highway, people did, damage. And they would scratch in and incise graffiti. And so you can't remove that the way we think you can. And so we go in and we do color matching, and essentially we paint rocks, but in a camouflage way, so you can't tell that anything was there. And so that's what that project is about.
I don't think we as the general public realize the depth of detail and the extent that you have to go to camouflage, as you said, all of this stuff. It's not easy.
No, and it's a special skill. I have an art background, And some of the folks in my nonprofit have art backgrounds as well, and that really
much
helps
needed.
us.
Yes, yes. Then you have Mount Irish interpretive signage and restaurant mural.
Yeah, this is so that education piece, like I was talking about with the signage plan and that up at Mount Irish, that's also an archaeological district. And they had recently put in some campsites, which was great because people were camping up and around the archaeological sites, which causes additional damage. And it's just use and visitation causes damage over time. So they had also put in a 1.5 mile loop trail, and they wanted somebody to come in and put in interpretive kiosks along the trail, and we talk about the geology, the biology, also how that ties into the cultural history. And then there was a bathroom, and we thought, well, that's a blank canvas. And because we have artists that are part of our team, we went ahead and put in a mural that has the animals that we talk about in the interpretive signage.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, in the restrooms. So people get a surprise when they walk in there, and they might read our signs and have a good time doing it.
Boy, there's certainly a lot of variety in your organization. It's not a narrow path. No plan was intended.
We got to be creative when educating people.
Yes. And leads on to the modern desert markings and homage to Las Vegas area land art.
Yes, and that ties in because our president, Katie Hoffman, she's an artist. She's actually going for her master's in fine arts up at Reno. And she was taking a class in Las Vegas with a land art historian. And she did a project and found out that there's a lot of these historic land art pieces. Now, land art is where the artists came in and they modified the landscape, right? One of the well-known ones is Michael Heiser's Double Negative, where they, on a mesa over in the Moapa area or Overton area, and he dug out 2 trenches. So it was about, that was in the 70s, I believe, or 60s. So these things are now historic because anything 50 years old or older, I must say, is historic. I'm getting there, right? And then anything 100 years old or older is archaeological. So these things actually need to be recognized as cultural sites that we need to be aware of. And so Modern Desert Markings was a joint project where we took artists to the field to see these places, and then they created their contemporary art in response to that. And there's a trend moving away from making any kind of permanent changes to the landscape, and it was highlighting that land art is going in a new direction that's more manageable and feasible. So bringing in that art community.
Yes, a lot of special projects there. And I'd like to talk about some of the events, but before we get into the events, later on this year, you have a Three Corners Conference. Would you like to share with us what the Three Corners Conference is and what it does and what it covers?
Yeah, most definitely. So the Three Corners Conference is held by the Southern Nevada Agency Partnership Cultural Resource Team, meaning it's all the archaeologists from the BLM National Park Service, but also area museums and such, and myself through the nonprofit. And we get together and we invite speakers and we host this conference at UNLV. We make it free to participate, free to attend. And so the nonprofit, we just support that conference and by putting together the program and those types of things. It happens every 2 years. And presenters, it can be students, avocationalists, and professionals that get together to, again, share information with each other.
Sounds like a wonderful brainstorming event.
Yeah, it's a great networking opportunity and, a good day.
Cool. We're going to take another brief sponsorship break. Folks, please stay with us. We're going to be back with some of the upcoming events and their speaker series. Please stay with us.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at PacificCoastCap.com.
Welcome back, everyone, and I'd like to welcome back Rayette Martin from Nevadans for Cultural Preservation. Thanks again, Rayette, for being with us and sharing with us what your organizer does. I'd like to talk about some of these events that you've got coming up, and we know you've got one on the 12th of April. It's called Sunday Stewardship at Little Red Rock. Would you like to share what that program is about? And if people want to volunteer or show up?
Most definitely. So with Little Red Rock being on private property, you can't go and visit it on your own. It's trespassing. So an opportunity for folks to go out and see the area and give back and help is to volunteer for a Sunday stewardship activity. Each one of those can be a little bit different. Like I said earlier, I'm looking at cleaning up all of that evidence of past partying and trash. So the next couple ones are probably going to be focused on, we have metal magnets that we pick up old nails. We have pickers so we can go around and pick up different types of garbage. And then we also we're to the point where we have little tweezers and we sit and we pick up glass and the rocks and that kind of thing.
Oh, good grief.
But like with the graffiti I talked about, we have, 1,000 hours. It went from looking completely, taken over to it's back to natural looking. So all of these events, these couple hours people dedicate every now and then, they really add up. And next thing you know, it's going to look pristine again. So that's really the focus.
And then the following week on the 18th, that's on a Saturday, you have Carp Rodeo.
Yes, the Carp Rodeo is hosted by Paranagant National Wildlife Refuge. That's up near Alamo, Nevada, so about an hour and a half from here. It's really beautiful. There's springs, there's green, it's mainly a bird refuge, and but they have carp in the lakes. And we don't want to keep carp in our lakes. So people come out, they get fishing poles and all the stuff they need. And they have a day of fishing, no fishing license required to remove the carp. We're going to be there just with an education booth. We have like a junior ranger book about archaeology. And so we're just there to talk to folks and interact with them.
Oh, okay. That sounds like fun, especially for people who like fishing.
Yes, exactly. Or you've never done it. They got everything you need.
Yeah, there you go. And the following week, following Saturday, you've got so much going on here.
Yes, every
weekend. You've got a kiln cleanup.
Yeah, so on the Spring Mountains, there are charcoal kilns, and charcoal kilns were used to take the timber, reduce it down to charcoal, and these ones are called the Tacopa charcoal kilns, which Tacopa is in California, but they use timber from the Mount Charleston area to take over there to work in their mine processing. And so these old kilns are along a trail, and there's some vegetation that's growing up in them, and so we're removing that vegetation with the Forest Service. And then also, unfortunately, this graffiti issue, right, is the parking area has some boulders, and so we are removing some graffiti from those boulders. And we also, I'm very excited, have installed some new signage there that our nonprofit went ahead and designed. And we work with Tread Lightly, the Nevada Off-Road Association, and other partners. So oftentimes off-road intersects with these historic sites. They need some signage. They contact us. We do the historical deep dive. make the sign, but also talk about responsible off-road riding, and then provide trail maps and things like that. So that's all there too.
So, wow,
Yeah.
a lot going on. You've got your work cut out for you.
It's springtime.
Yes.
Every spring. Like I tell people, I work 24/7, but I'm actually not always working.
Yes.
But a Sunday I'm working, a Saturday I'm working. Today, I might take the rest of the day off, but who knows?
Well, but the nice thing is, it seems that you really enjoy what you do, and that's so important.
I love what I
Yes.
do. Yeah, I don't work a day in my life.
Yes. And would like to mention in Memorial Day weekend, I know that's not for a couple of months. City of Caliente, you have an education booth there.
Yeah, so Caliente is in Lincoln County. It is about 2.5 hours from Las Vegas, and they have a huge Memorial Day celebration. They also call it their homecoming celebration. So a lot of families get back together, like family reunions. They have not just like fireworks and things like that, but booths and all kinds of cool activities. So we're going to be there again, educating those folks, not just of, hey, this is what you should and shouldn't be doing. But up in Lincoln County, they have at least 5 different petroglyph sites that are open for public visitation. So I'm sharing that information, asking them to go out, enjoy, what they have out there, and then report those damages again, be our helpers and our eyes out there.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Now, also on your website, you have a YouTube speaker series.
Yes.
I'd like to talk a little bit about your speaker series.
So this is a great opportunity for folks to learn more about Nevada archaeology or Great Basin archaeology. So we partner with the Nevada Site Stewardship Program, and we host a monthly speaker. That speaker doesn't have to be an archaeologist necessarily, but the topics are focused on archaeology-related subjects for Nevada. And they come on, these different experts in their fields, and they provide a presentation, 45 minutes to an hour, and we record those and then host them on our YouTube. So you can sign up and attend live while they're presenting, or if you miss it or you want to go see the other speakers that we've had, those are all posted on YouTube as well.
Okay.
I think we've been doing it for 3 years now, I believe.
Wow.
So there's quite a few out there, and topics range from petroglyphs to military archaeology, railroad archaeology, paleontology. So there's a little bit of something for everybody.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
so check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be sure to, and hopefully our viewers will check it out too. Now, you've mentioned that you get some of your fundraising from some of these grants you mentioned earlier on. Now, do you get fundraising also from any corporations or businesses or the general public?
Yeah,
Are you looking for donations?
we're always looking for donations.
Well, yes.
Yes, we do get some corporate donations. Some of the different archaeology or organizations or businesses that go out and provide services, they will donate to us. The money that we get from those types of donations really help us run our organization, help us do outreach and education at schools, because we don't have grant projects for that, right? So the grant projects keep us really moving, but those donations help us do all the little things that add up that really count a lot. So we do have a donation opportunity on our website, and we appreciate anything small or large. It helps immensely.
Absolutely. Every little bit helps. Now, what volunteer opportunities are there? Are you always looking for volunteers?
Yeah.
These special projects, or?
We have on our website, we're not as active on social media as we should be. I know that's a great way to reach folks. But the best way to find out what we have going on is to visit our website. And under that, it has all of our events, and our events will have volunteer opportunities. And so right now, a lot of our opportunities are cleaning up the brush around the kilns, or going out and removing the trash, or if I have another graffiti project. That's typically the types of things that we look for volunteers for.
Well, you said that you're not very active on social media, but I have to say your website is extremely comprehensive.
Thank you.
A lot of work went into that website. There truly is a lot of information out there, folks, on what this organization does.
And I do want to say we do send out a monthly email. So it's like an email newsletter. So if you sign up to be added to that list, we only send it out once a month. So you don't have to worry about us filling your inbox. And it has a lot of the same information that's on the website. So, for example, March's email just went out. And so then the next one won't be till April. And it tells you what we did the previous month and what's coming up in the next month or so.
Well, since we've been talking about the website and your email of the newsletter, would you care to give our viewers that information on how they can reach out to Nevadans for cultural preservation?
Yeah, most definitely. So the website is NVFCP.org. So if type that in any browser, it'll pull us up. And then to contact us, contact@nvfcp.org. Those are the best avenues to get a hold of us. We do have a Facebook page, a YouTube channel. So you could get on those lists if you know how to do that.
Do that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. It's been wonderful having you on this program. Thank you so much for what you do for the cultural preservation here in our state. You're doing amazing work, and I thank you for taking the time out and being with us today and sharing what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, it's been a pleasure having you. And folks, I'd also like to thank our station owner, John Stiles, and show producer for hosting this program with me. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Priority Wealth Partners, Pacific Coast Capital, the Firelight Barn, and my late business partner, Ralph Champion. His legacy lives on with this program, and you'll hear his message right at the end. I'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for tuning into this episode. Please share this with anybody who you think might be interested in getting involved or donating to this organization. I'm sure they would welcome the contact information. And if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, Stephen at thegiftofgiving.vegas. And hopefully you'll come back and visit us again soon. In the meantime, be safe, be kind to one another, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDBTV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.